Hey, it's a brand new day on Gilliam Farms, and I am Johnny. And today I'm headed out, I'm going over to Paul Case Farms. That would be the YouTube channel called Paul Case Farms. Check it out. I'm going over there because he has built for my wife, that would be Christine, of Christine Mrs.GilliamFarms channel. He has built her some raised bed garden beds. And so what I'm doing is I'm going over there to pick those up. Very generous of him. We had no idea it was happening. I didn't ask. One time I asked him if he had any cedar wood around there that I could make some garden beds out of, but I had no idea that he was going to make some garden beds for us or anything like that. So anyway, he is about 2 hours from us, so I've got about a 2-hour drive. On a positive note, I am driving the flatbed and there is no sign of any more critters in the truck, guys. No more signs. I put things out so that I could see if there were. I put a bag of chocolate covered peanuts right on the floor just to see if there's anything still in here. Nope. Nothing. Zip. Nada. Zero. Got rid of it. So anyway, that's a good deal, because I was getting ready to catch a snake and put in this truck. So, you know, anyway, maybe my wife can ride in it again. But anyway, we're going to head on over here. I'm going to see what he's got going on. Talked to him a little bit ago. He said he's been in the woods logging. So I'm going to go out here and see what he's got going on. We're going to get these raised beds loaded up. I've actually got the trailer still on the back of my truck, so we're just going to set them on that. He said we could haul them on the flatbed, but if I've already got the trailer hooked up, it's a lot lower, so it'll be a lot easier for me to get them off and, you know, us to get them on if it's a lower deck. Plus I can strap them down real good on the trailer and everything. So anyway, so let's get on over there and pick these up, see what he's got going on, and see what the rest of the day brings. I have found my way with help from Paul to Paul Case Farms. You may have seen this tractor on his newest little video that he did with the Centennial Ranch. That's pretty cool, guys. And here he is right here. He's already got my stuff loaded up. I guess he's ready to put it on here. Oh, man. You ain't messing around. Ain't messing around. You've already got it. How's it going, Paul?
Good. How are you, Johnny?
I'm doing good.
I would say you're getting along just fine. That GPS thing is a liar. It tells you you can make that in that amount of time, but it don't account for those roads that take you a little slower to get up. What way did you come?
I don't even know. I came a bunch of wild ways.
44? I-44?
No. I come through Grove and Jay and all them towns back through there. So check them out. Cedar, Eastern Red Cedar right there, and then the other one is Post Oak.
You'll have to tell Christine that I think that one stinks.
What, the cedar one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that's good.
When you go to sawing that stuff, my saw is 200 foot down there in the building, and you can smell it when you walk in.
Awesome. But anyway, yep, I'm here with Paul, and we're gonna load this up here, and here directly I'll head toward the house.
Did it rain on you any?
Huh?
The radar shows it's going to, but I don't know.
Yeah, it had rain.
They have a lot of trouble predicting it this time of the year.
Yeah, they have a lot of trouble predicting rain. Yeah, I saw your little tractor out there with your sign on it. I like that. You know, when I drove past here, I thought, man, that looks like it's it. But my GPS was just keeping me going on down the road, and I get down there and there's some guys got a van loaded on a trailer on the right hand side of the road. They was waving at me, and there was somebody right on my butt, and I couldn't turn. And then there's some guy mowing that didn't look like you, but there was a driveway right there by where it said it, and I was like, that can't be it, because Paul wouldn't have somebody else mowing for him.
Trailer.
Yeah.
get around here, it's dirty and crusty, but it keeps you from having to walk as much. Let's go look at a tractor.
All right, here we go. All right, we're going on the tractor tour, guys, here at Paul Case Farm. Got our boxes all loaded up.
Don't worry, this won't go fast enough to blow your hat off.
Works though.
I backed into a log today when I was in the woods, couldn't you tell? See that brand new tail light?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, we're on the tractor tour right now. This is the Paul Case, one of the Paul Case shop. Pretty dark in here, but hopefully we'll be able to.
Here's a little Case International. Some of these are users and some are not. This one's a user. It's 85 horsepower. I bought it as scrap iron. You want to hear how a scrap iron tractor runs?
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's not Japanese, but it works.
85 horsepower. Bought it as scrap.
Yep. My dad painted it. It had, matter of fact, it came from the same guy as the one my sign's on.
Oh, nice.
And he was trying to settle his dad's estate after his dad passed away.
Yeah.
And this tractor had a loader on it, and I gave him what I thought I could get out of the loader, and I sold the loader and basically got the tractor for nothing. But I thought the motor was locked up on it, but it wasn't. The starter was locked up.
Oh, wow.
Yep. The one behind it's an M Farmall that belonged to my mom's dad, and he used it to mow hay with and do everything else with.
Yeah.
And my uncle gave it to me about a year ago. When we brought it home, it's got a bearing locked up in the transmission somehow.
Oh, okay.
And needs some help, but you know,
yeah.
I only had a couple of grandpas, so and have a lot of options. Sam, stay out of the way, dog. This one is a real unique tractor right here. This is a Farmall regular made previous to 1929, but it did not have the 13 horsepower Honda motor hanging off the side powering it in 1929. And if you look real close there, you can figure out that you push on a pedal and it tightens the belt to make it run.
Look at that.
And you ain't gonna believe it, it'll run around just fine.
Honda powered.
Farmall regular.
Farmall regular. Look at that. No spark plugs, none of that stuff. Well, who needs spark plugs whenever you got this, right?
No oil pan, no pistons either. Yeah. Yep. It has a flat belt on the fan. I always advertise that. The flat belt's still on the fan. You don't see any of them running a flat belt on the fan. It doesn't turn because that motor don't work. But
right.
Yep.
Wow. Isn't that amazing?
A friend of mine gave me the thing. Tires was all rotted off from it, and I thought the back wheels was really cool because they were spoked wheels.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wow. That is.
Repowered with a 13 horse Honda. This is a 8N Ford. It belonged to the same grandpa that the M Farmall did. And when my mom was a kid, this was the four-wheeler. This is what they went and got their cows with.
Yep.
And my grandpa got caught in that deal in the early 80s where the interest was really high and they foreclosed on his farm.
Yeah.
Because the bank got word he had a cancer on his foot.
Oh.
And there was a different connotation with cancer back then. There was a lot more people didn't make it if you get diagnosed with cancer. And so he had to sell this, and he sold it to a neighbor of his. And while it was out of the family, they overhauled the motor and put new tires on the back of it.
Oh, wow.
And I bought it back from the guy who had bought it from my grandpa, from his nephew. And he sold it to me for about half what it's worth.
Yeah.
He called me up, he said, I got a tractor you want. And I said, really, what is it? And he told me, I said, I've never wanted a Ford, ever. Ever. Never, ever did. And I don't have no use for a Ford. And he says, well, it was your grandpa's. I said, well, I guess I want it then. We didn't even talk price, but he made a good deal out of it for me.
Yeah.
The next two are H Farmalls, both of which belong to a guy named Don, but they were different guys.
Oh.
This one had the two Don tractors. This one had belonged to my dad's oldest brother, Don, and my cousin left it set with water in it, and it froze up and busted the top of the head open. He didn't want to mess with it, and he gave it to me. And I brought it home and fixed the leak. It was all external. You take the valve cover off, it was right on top. And so I fixed all the leak. And these two both run. It's just that nobody wants to drive one like that anymore. No power steering, no power brakes, no live PTO or anything like that. Yeah. The other one belonged to a guy named Don Boyer that was a deacon at a church I pastored, and he sold it to me out of spite because he knew that he might die before another one of his neighbors, and he didn't want them to have it.
It's just sold out of spite.
Yeah, it's sold out of spite. But
I've heard of the stuff like that.
Yeah, I've used that one quite a bit. We changed the tire off that looked about like this one. And Don told me that the tire that was here was on it when his dad bought it. And it tells you how much they've used it. It probably has as little use on it as any H I've ever even drove. This one still has the bumps on the back of the steering wheel where they hold your fingers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And most of them are just wore off flat slick, or else they've been changed. The one on that one's been changed.
Yeah.
My uncle used this one on a little front end loader, and he rolled it over and mashed the steering wheel. My dad built him one out of a truck steering wheel, I think, or something like that. Yep. The one that's over here behind us in the sun is a McCormick Deering W6. And what it amounts to is it is the same as an M Farmall, but it was a standard tread tractor. It would have been what they'd called a Wheatland back then. You couldn't adjust the wheels much. But this was, when it came out from the factory, it would have been 38 horsepower. I gave $100 for this tractor.
$100.
When I was 13 at a farm auction, and the motor was stuck. It's the very first tractor I ever owned. And Dad and I got it home and messed with it, got the motor unstuck, and it runs really good. It doesn't smoke, but you can tell there's no grinder mixer in here anymore, but obviously the last thing it was doing was grinding feed. That's what all that white dust on it is.
Feed grinder.
Yeah, it was powering the feed grinder. It's had a lot of jobs over its lifetime with me. Yeah. And I understand the guy that had it before me pulled a square baler with it.
Yeah. Old square body.
My dad bought this in 1979.
Yeah.
It's a 76 model.
Yeah.
Being 3 years old, the guy he bought it from told him that the odometer had already rolled over.
3 years.
3 years. Back then, that was a lot of miles.
That was 100,000 miles back then. Right.
And that was a lot of miles for a truck to have altogether. And the story with it was the guy had bought it with the purpose of hauling tractors back from Washington, D.C. In 1978 or 79, there were large groups of farmers that protested the government foreclosing on farms that couldn't pay their mortgages because of low commodity prices and high interest rates by driving their tractors to Washington. You should look it up if you've never heard of it. It was called Tractorcade, and there's pictures of the mall in Washington, D.C. just completely covered with farm tractors. And there was a lot of guys from over in this area that went to that, drove tractors to that. And the guy bought this truck and put a guy driving it, hauling tractors home from Washington.
Wow.
And that's how it got all its miles. Wow. But don't kid yourself, it still had the original motor in it then. It's had 7 motors through it now.
Oh, wow.
And we finally put a 454 in it last time, but the thing's so wore out. It looks pretty good sitting there now, but that's because it's sitting on blocks on the back axle. The springs are completely wore out. And it's so loose you wouldn't want to have to drive it down the road. But it works good to feed cows with.
Yeah.
I found myself feeding with it some this last winter when Mildred was down.
Right.
Yep. And that is if you've never seen one, this is a homemade bale unroller bed.
Oh, okay.
They took a 3-point unroller and cut all the 3-point attachment off and mounted that tube and the cylinder underneath that rolls the tube back and forth.
Oh.
And so you can pick up 2 bales and put on it and unroll them. And it runs off of a hydraulic pump that is powered by the V-belt, and it has an air conditioner compressor clutch on it.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to run it all the time. It works really slick.
Yeah.
This little tractor is a 580 case, affectionately known as Old Yeller. I used Old Yeller to clean chicken houses with when I was growing chickens, and it works really good for a lot of things. I've logged with it. It's a hydrostat. It don't have no gears at all. It has 2 foot pedals over there. You push on one to go forward and the other one to go backward.
Yeah.
And it works really well. But it had a hydraulic tamp on the back of it that was obviously really heavy. Yeah. Maybe you can tell by the full rack of suitcase weights, 5 wheel weights, and 4 suitcase weights hanging on it.
Absolutely, because that would have been the same platform you would have made a case 580
backhoe
out
yep,
of.
and that backhoe part on them is really heavy.
Very heavy.
They actually weld heavier plates into the floor of the bucket on those to ballast for the backhoe.
Right.
Take the backhoe off and you can't keep the back tires on the ground, basically.
Oh, wow.
And the back tires are fluted on it, too.
Wow.
It's-
It had that much weight.
It's got a lot of weight on it. This is a 400 Farmall. It belongs to somebody else.
Ah, okay.
My youngest son owns that one. This, you might be able to tell this one's my baler tractor.
Yeah.
It's no matter what the hood says, it's a 1086. We call it identity crisis because when I bought it, it was missing half the hood. And so I had to go to salvage and buy half a hood for it, and the other half of the hood says 1486.
Oh.
So this is identity crisis.
Identity crisis.
Yeah.
1086 on one side and 1486 on the other.
Yep, just depends on, where you're at. You need a little more power, just go over to the other side. You ever thought about doing your race car that way? 400 horsepower on one side of the front, 800 horsepower on the other. This little 706 Farmall is the second tractor I ever owned. As a kid growing up, my dad lost his job when B.F. Goodrich in Miami closed. And from 1980, I think it was 85 when they closed, until the year 2000, we baled hay for other people all summer long. We never got in before the frost, and we left doing that before the school got out. And we never went farther out than driving distance, never had to. And I bought this tractor when I was 15 then to help my dad out. And I mowed a lot of hay with this tractor. And then when we got a diesel tractor to put on the mower, we used this one to pull a baler with.
How many horsepower is this one?
About 70.
About a 70 horse tractor.
Mm-hmm. It had a cab on it. I took the cab off so I could store it easier. Now, here's the real funny thing about this tractor. I told you B.F. Goodrich closed in 85. My uncle also worked at B.F. Goodrich. He was back visiting one time while we'd been making his hay, and he seen I'd put new tires on the back of it. Mm-hmm. And if you look close, you can see they say B.F. Goodrich on them. And he said to me, he only had one thing to say about it. He said, if you would have bought them years ago, I wouldn't have had to go to Alabama to finish and get my retirement. But the trouble is, I didn't even own the tractor till like 7 or 8 years after he went to Alabama. So, now these two tractors are, they look a lot alike. This one's a Super M. I had it on the feed grinder for quite a while. This is another one of those nothing tractors. An acquaintance of mine passed away, and I knew he went to school with his kids. And a little while after he passed away, his kids run an ad that they had some tractors for sale, and one of them was all in parts. And I was working on a D17 Alice, and I couldn't find a fuel tank for it. And in the pictures, there was a D17 Alice. And so I called them and asked them what they had for sure. And she said, I don't know. It's over at Dad's place. Go look. And so I went over and looked, and sure enough, he had a D17 Alice, and he had this tractor sitting there with it was a Swartz made, but it was an Oliver brand front end loader on it. And I asked her what she wanted for him. She said, I have to have this many dollars to settle Dad's estate completely. And it wasn't much. And I gave her what she asked for him. And the motor was stuck on this one. And it sat out in front of my shop for a little while, and I thought, I ought to take the loader off from it. I could probably sell the loader. And I thought, why would I take it off? Make whoever buys it help me take it off. That'd be a good experience for them if they're going to put it on something. Right. Sold the loader for what I gave for the tractor.
Oh, wow.
And I pulled the spark plugs on it and split a can of PB blaster between all 4 holes, left it set a day, and then we pulled it, and I had it in 4th gear, dumping the clutch, and then I'd make him stop. I'd put it in reverse and dump it a few times, and the second time I did that, it come loose. And that thing runs really nice. Starts right up. Even when it was really cold in the winter, I could get it to start by just choking it. Single battery. It needs a new home. Ain't got much on it for tires, but pretty good tractor. I thought about advertising it. Yeah. This one here will probably never get sold. Yeah. This one here may never ever get moved. I don't know. This was my dad's M Farmall. He bought it from a neighbor of ours when they sold out and moved to Alabama with B.F. Goodrich. And he didn't buy it, actually, at the auction. And they didn't sell it because it didn't bring enough. And then the guy says to my dad a little while later, he said, would you like to buy that tractor? And Dad said, well, yeah, I'd like to buy that tractor. I was the backup bidder, or I was the bidder who had it bought, and you didn't sell it. He said, well, I'll sell it to you for what it would have brought at the auction. And so Dad bought it. And it looked nothing like this the whole time he had it, but he had helped both of my boys fix up a H Farmall and paint it. And I told them, I said, we ought to get together and go up there and steal Grandpa's tractor. It's been sitting up in the woods where he was mowing with it and ain't moved for a year. He probably don't remember it's there. And so we went up there and pulled it home. Got it to running really good. Went and found a set of tires to put on it because it had nothing but rags on it. You know how it is when you're bush hogging old sprouty ground and stuff. It just eats tires up. And on the day before Christmas Eve that year, we drove it down there, and it was spitting snow, and Dad was gone doing his cow chores when we got there. And he pulls in, and he says, hey, I used to have a tractor like that. I said, used to? You ought to walk around it and look. He walks around it, and he says, I believe that was mine, and you've ruined it. Now I can't mow with it. You fancied it all up. And the first thing he done, and the only thing I know of he done, was drove it down here and put it back in the barn. We cleaned it up once and was ready to go to, I think it was the 4th of July parade in Commerce maybe. And it rained it out. We didn't even get to go to the parade. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Wow.
That's the long end of this building.
That was awesome, Paul, and I appreciate you showing us all that stuff. See, we went to Red Power Roundup last year, and that was up in Iowa, and we got to see a bunch of this stuff, and my wife just fell in love with stuff like this.
Yeah.
And like that tractor right there would be like a dream for us. That one, that 706. I think Pete has one of those.
His is a 756.
His is a 756?
Yeah. His is diesel. Mine's gas.
Oh, is that what the difference is between the 706?
No, that's actually a model difference. The 756 on the diesel offered a different motor than you could get on the 706 diesel.
Okay.
But if you go look at his 756, they painted a panel on the side where the 706 is red, and then the grill's different. And it had a few other upgrades. The shifting was better. It had a better shifting setup on the high, low, and reverse on the 56. It's just a newer thing. They went 06, 56, 66, 86.
Oh, okay.
And the other numbers denoted horsepower.
Yeah, right. And this one right here, I forget. How many horsepower did you say the big 1086 is?
125.
125 horsepower.
You think it'll start?
I don't know.
Been sitting here all winter.
We're going to see. This tractor's been sitting here for a year, and we're going to see if it will start. Oh, wow. There it is, guys. That is awesome.
The seat's still pumped up. That's unusual. This one's got a hydraulic seat.
Right.
And the linkage to hike it up is right there. And I pulled up on it and it wouldn't go up any. So the seat even stayed up.
Oh, wow. It never even lost a seat prime, I guess you'd call it.
Now, the tack on it don't work, but I think that's happened from sitting. And it says 2,500 and some hours. This one don't show near the wear. The first one that I had, I gave to my oldest son. He's still using it. The meter on it said 85 or 8,800 hours and never worked the whole time I've had it. And I've had it since 99.
Wow.
And we did a motor overhaul on it, but just thinking short of what we're using it, it could have had 20,000 hours on it.
Does anybody else get reminded of like an old Cadillac or something like that whenever you look at these inner door panels?
Yep. They actually had
Old
two kinds
GM.
of them. The one kind's just a metal cover, and then this one, they call this one the Western.
The Western.
Western interior.
Yeah, it looks like old GM.
Yeah.
Is what it looks like. It's pretty cool.
Tuck and roll.
Yeah.
Is that what they called some of that?
Pretty cool. So you saw it, guys. The tractor started right up. This is his hay baling tractor right here. Be a good one to bale with.
Airworks.
Airworks, there you go. Be a great one to bale with. I'll change that.
You need the air.
All right, I want to thank Paul of Paul Case Farms here. He has shown us around. I got to do a drone tour of the farm and everything. We got these amazing raised bed grow beds here for Christine's garden, so she can grow to her heart's content in those. But anyway, I'm getting ready to get back on the road. This is a centennial farm. It's been in his family for over 100 years. So that's pretty special, guys. So you have any words of wisdom, Paul?
Yeah, you have to live a long time to have 100-year farm. Yep. My best words of wisdom would probably be how'd you say that again?
Gilliam.
No, not Gilliam.
GilliamFarms.
Farms. No, it's Gilliam Farms.
Mr. Gilliam.
I got an idea about what you can call those raised beds.
What's that?
Thing 1 and thing 2.
Thing 1 and thing 2.
And we'll know that you've met your mission whenever that we see on one of your videos, things 36 or 73 or whatever it was she said she needed.
When they have dirt in them, you'll always see them in her video. So, but anyway, well, I'm going to head on back to the house, and thank you much, Paul, and everybody check out Paul Case Farms. He has got an amazing channel. I found him a long time ago by going to Red Power Roundup and meeting some folks called Witham Family Farm. And the Withams told me about Paul Case, and I subbed to him immediately. Therefore, I could look at his content, and it's been great.
It turns out all three of us actually got to meet each other just a couple months ago.
That's right. We got to meet up at the 10 Killer YouTube meetup. So everybody check out all those channels, and we will catch you later.
No way! Are you oh my gosh. Oh, they're beautiful. Oh my gosh. They smell so good.
That's cedar, Eastern Red Cedar.
That's beautiful.
Yep, and that one is red oak and post oak.
Oh my gosh.
Aren't those beautiful?
Those are beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Pockies. Oh, and this is oak?
That one is post oak and red oak. You can
Oh,
see the
yeah,
two
the
red
red
oak
oak
boards
right
at the
here.
top. Yep,
Oh
yep,
my goodness, beautiful.
yep,
Wow, he does good work.
yep.
This is off his sawmill, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Paul Case, if you're watching this. I'm so happy.
So,
gosh.
yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you for blessing me with these.
Absolutely. Thank you, Paul.
Now, when are we going to get these off the trailer?
I told him I would pull the trailer up there and we would set them there, and then I'd say where you want them and you'd tell me, and then I'd leave the trailer sitting there, and then I'd ask you again in a couple of days and you'd tell me the actual place where you want them.
Oh, absolutely. Just a couple of days. I figured you said a couple of weeks or months.
But anyway. So anyway, guys, if you like this little video about picking up the raised beds and everything, or going to Paul Case, then like, comment, subscribe, and we'll continue to bring more content in the future as available. And as always, everybody, God bless.